Howard Thurman was born in Florida, 1899, an African-American community. And he was influenced for Christ by his mom and more importantly, his grandmother who lived through slavery. And he went on to become a pastor, a writer, philosopher, had a profound influence in American culture, people like Martin Luther King Jr. and others. And his work, in particular, was about finding our true identity in God alone and only God, especially in the light of his day, of his context of racism and oppression. And one of his most famous works is called Jesus and the Disinherited. And here's what he writes, and it's a great introduction, as you'll see, to where we're going to go in Ephesians 5 today. He wrote this: "The awareness of being a child of God tends to stabilize the ego and results in new courage, fearlessness, and power. When I was a youngster, this was drilled into my head by my grandmother." Thank God for grandmothers, all right? "The idea was given to her by a certain slave minister who held secret religious meetings with his fellow slaves. How everything in me quivered with the pulsing terror of raw energy when she would come to the triumphant climax of the minister." She would preach the minister's sermon to him. "You are not and I won't say the word, you are not a slave. You are God's child." This established for them the ground of personal dignity. This individual now feels that he counts. Even death becomes a little thing. To the degree to which a man knows this, or a woman, of course, that he is a child of God, he is unconquerable from within and without. I'll say it again. To the degree to which a person knows this, that he's a child of God, he or she cannot be conquered from within or from without. Now, so Thurman understood that we live in a world that seeks to destroy our God-given identity, regardless of its context, but especially in his context of racism. So he knew that the only place was God. Now, Paul knew this too, the apostle. So when he writes this book of Ephesians, it is a major theme, is who are you? And how do you understand your own self-identity? And so this is a little short book of 6 chapters. We've been in it now for a number of weeks. And I want to encourage you, please read the 6 chapters. Read it, meditate on it. It's a tremendous little book. Paul writes it from a prison in Rome, and he writes back to this Ephesian church. And again, his main purpose, the first 3 chapters, is your identity. And then in the last 3 chapters, 4, 5, and 6, he basically works it out practically. What does that look like as a disciple of Jesus in the marketplace, in your marriage, etc.?